Hello, civilians, which is the official name for Civ fans. I have just decreed it. We're here talking about the issues of Civ 7. How many YouTube videos with like clickbaity titles have you seen? The problem with Civ 7, Civ 7's biggest issue, stuff like that. Yeah, you're about to watch another one. Get ready, cause you're about to sit here for like 5 to 10 minutes and watch another one. If it's more than 5 to 10 minutes, I highly apologize. But I'm going to be talking about how I would personally go about fixing some of the game's biggest criticisms, which are as follows. Number one, the first thing I always see people crying about online is the fact that the ages are bunk. And luckily, I don't think we're going to have to worry about bad ages being bad for much longer because they're releasing a patch in like a week or so that's going to address a few problems, and then they said that they're going to be continuing to address some of the problems with the age system over the coming months. So, ages aren't going to be that bad anymore, which I don't mind the ages system personally. I think the bigger problem is the legacy point system, which they already announced that they're going to add an option to completely remove it from your game, which bravo. I think one of the problems that makes Civ 7 not feel as civvy is the fact that you are kind of railroaded into, oh, in Antiquity you always have to put 7 wonders and get 12 cities and blah blah blah, etc., etc. And that continues on into the exploration in Modern. Modern is a different story because obviously that's the way how you win. But in the first 2 ages for the sort of setup to your conquest and victory, they do feel kind of meh. And this, what's the word I'm looking for? In exploration, I think this is really easy to see with the religious victory. Because honestly, if you look at it, all you really have to do is get your 12 relics and you don't have to touch religion again. They're adding religious content in the next patch. Probably not game-changing stuff, but enough to make it feel different, which will hopefully help alongside the option to remove the legacy system. Will help to make religion feel a little bit better because you're doing it for the sake of doing it instead of doing it for the sake of filling a meter. You don't have to stop at 12 relics for optimum gameplay. Optimal gameplay. You can become I would like to call it a religious beast, which I think will be a good change. I can't remember the next thing I was talking about, or honestly, what I was talking about previously, so I'm just going to get into the next thing. Number 2. And this is, I think, probably the hottest topic. Hot topic? No! This is the hottest topic in Civ 7 right now, and it is the Civ swapping. A lot of people are up in arms about it, saying it's too much like humankind. I wouldn't go that far. I think how it's done in Civ 7 is probably the best way to do it. I think it needs work, but they are working on that, so that's good. Here is my little hypothesis, and Firaxis, if you're listening, which you probably aren't, take some notes. Get out your little Sid Meier notepad and scribble. That was for you. This is how I would go about fixing the ages system. Put it in big golden letters. Fixing Civ 7's ages systems gone wrong in parentheses. Okay, so in Civ 7, there are 3 distinct ages. Antiquity. I'm going to be writing this down so that I can remember what I'm saying, because that is the level that we're at right now. There's 3 ages: Antiquity, there's Exploration, and there's Modern. Right? Each of these different stages, you are a completely different Civ, except for there are 2 Civs in the game that have 3 ages of the same Civ. So in Antiquity, you're Maurya India, Exploration, you're Chola India, and Modern is Mughal. And this, I think, is excellent. This also goes for China with Han, Ming, and Qing. You feel like China throughout the entire game. You just get new Chinese abilities. You feel like India throughout the entire game. You just get new Indian abilities. This, I think, is the best way to... It's the best of both worlds. You still keep the ages system, but you don't feel like an entirely new Civ. You feel like, oh yeah, this would be a natural progression. Moria, India. Oh yeah, in Antiquity, when there's one continent, yeah, of course they're going to be militaristic and religious. Obviously, they're going to be focused on making their continent so good. Then it comes for exploration. Oh yeah, they would probably start exploring the new land and taking that over. And then in modern, it's like, okay, well, they already have all the land they would want. Might as well make money, make money. Same goes for China. Well, it's different for China because China doesn't really have as much of a easy path. It's more so of a, oh yeah, make really good cities. Build a big wall. Make really, really good cities. Build a big wall. And now we take our good stuff from within our big wall and give it to other people. Or take other people's stuff and put it into our big wall. Which is how China goes. Brainstorming time. Can we all say brain? If you're watching this, look at your screen right now. Out loud and say, brainstorm. Green needle. So now to explain, because I did a really poor job of doing it in the previous section. This is me editing this, saying this. Instead of choosing Han China in Antiquity, then Ming China in Exploration, and then Qing in Modern, you would just at the beginning of the game pick Chinese Empire, and you would automatically go Han Ming Qing. That's just the Chinese Empire's, like I said, I was thinking skill set. That's just their kit throughout the entire game. Capiche? You understand me? I just recorded the next segment and I pressed the wrong button and it all deleted. I'm going to try to say this as well and clear as possible. So, an example I would have is Mayans and Antiquity, and then that forms into Aztec in Exploration. It's the same vibe, it would just be natural what would go down. I think that would keep the vibe of, you know, your Civ being meaningful without what we have in Civ 7 now, which is you're jumping all over map, Han China to the Incans to Hawaii, blah blah blah. You would still, I think it would mitigate the whiplash, the cultural whiplash that Civ 7 has right now. And then from, what would I say, Aztecs? Mayan to Aztec to Mexico is, I think, a similar vein to Han China, Ming China, Qing China. That would be a vibe. Similarly, you could do, not in the game, this is a Civ I'm completely making up, Anglo-Saxons in Antiquity, and to an England Civ, which would be like Tudor England, blah blah blah, you get what I mean, medieval England, into Great Britain. That's another 3. That is a nice flow of culture that doesn't smack you in the face. But I think this allows Firaxis to double up in some regards, where you could also have that be the lineup, but instead of Great Britain at the end, you could do that for America as well, through the colonies. You could make America into, you know, the modern age Civ of the Anglo-Saxon to England. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I can't remember. Pipeline. Yeah. You see what I mean? You see where I'm getting at? It would be a more natural progression without the whiplash that comes with the Switch that we have now. Not the Switch 2, because nobody in their right mind is going to buy that thing. As I was saying, this mindset, alongside the changes that Firaxis is already making to the age system to make it feel more smoother, I think would make for a much more enjoyable, much more culturally enriched version of Civ 7, where the choices you do make will be meaningful. I think it will be important, though, to keep leaders and civs separate. We can make civs grouped into 3, but I think for the artistic vision of Civ 7, leaders should be separate. Because then it's still different enough to where it doesn't feel like they completely regress to make people happy, which I think is important. I don't think that Firaxis should backtrack to try to make people less mad, because people who are mad at Civ 7 right now can probably continue to be mad at it. There's really nothing that Firaxis is going to do, because it's been 3 months and people are still complaining. Once they release their expansions, they fix all the issues, we'll see where people stand on it, but as of right now, I think Firaxis should go for bolder moves to, just push forward and make this game as good as they can. That's my idea. 3 layers. Let me know what you think. I know I said I was going to end this around 10 minutes, but I need to say this for my part. We need better leaders. And I think this isn't going to be like the, oh, Harriet Tubman shouldn't be in this game-esque argument that you've been hearing a lot of bald 40-year-old men cry about. That's so mean. I'm sorry to all the bald 40-year-old men out there. But I think more iconic and more caricature-esque leaders would be beneficial. This also is a little bit saying we need more leader dialogue. We have right now the intro speech, the death speech, and the 2 types of war speech, whether they declare on you or you declare on them. That's it. That's not enough. I think what would need to happen is each leader should have their own unique dialogue for each of the sanctions, each of the spy things, each of the endeavors. So like if we got Amina on screen right now, if you give Amina a research thing, she's like, oh, by the this is so don't so she's like, oh, by the camels back in the desert, my brain will swell, or something stupid like that. Like something in line with what we already have with Amina, who's like, I am the war dog of the desert. Something in line. Or like Xerxes is a good example of a leader I think they have the vibe of. He just needs more dialogue, because he's like, I am the mightiest brain in the world and you shan't defeat me. But he loses steam when he stops speaking. We need more of the dialogue. Firaxis. Oh god, it took 3 minutes to say that. This is going to be like 15 minutes long in the beginning. I said it would be 5 to 10. Oh no. Anyways. More leaders, more caricatures leaders. Like, obviously we need Genghis Khan, we need Gandhi, we need the OGs. They're gonna be doing that in DLC. Nobody needs to be concerned. More leader dialogue would go a long way of making the leaders not feel like AI puppets. Thank you for watching.